From the Middle is a founding member of the Odd Pods Media Network.
Oh, for the love.
Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole.
I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it?
You're so cerebral and you're so developed and evolved. From the Middle After Dark over here.
Hey! It's From the Middle, episode number 73. When we are three middle-class guys living in the middle of America, in the middle chapters of our lives with, there's this, I always screw that one up. I know there's one I'm always missing.
A point of view. We struggle with a point of view.
With a point of view, but I feel like there's another one in there. Anyway, point of view that is somewhere in the middle. We are a very well scripted and thoughtful show.
Well-oiled machine.
Well-oiled machine. My name's Kendall, and over there we've got Corey, and over there we've got Dylan. And I tell you what, we're just happy and excited to have microphones in front of our faces, because boy, do we like talking about anything. We touch on the geek culture stuff a little bit, sometimes do deeper dives on those things. We talk about being dads. We talk about people living in campers after they sell their house. We talk about different professions and all kinds of things. If it's interesting, we'll talk about it. If it's not interesting, by golly, we talk about it until it is. That is what we do and what we are. How you guys doing?
Doing great. And I also want to say thank you. I noticed our newest listeners are from Scotland. We added another country.
All right.
So thank you for listening all the way in Scotland.
It's time for Dylan's favorite segment. Let's come up with stereotypes of people who live in that country. Go, Dylan.
All right.
Negative stereotypes. Real negative ones.
In that case, something about golf. Golf's boring, right? Can I offend the whole country with a question? That's my goal.
Is golf really that boring?
Yeah.
That's not a real segment. We just made that up to put Dylan on.
I don't have anything else.
Something about robot, golf. And he doesn't feel uncomfortable. So there you go.
Not a thing that happens to me. No. But I do genuinely want to thank the listeners from Scotland. Yes. That's very exciting. The little geeky part of me loves seeing new countries added, like to our little list, like our analytics list, kind of behind the scenes. So my plea to you is, if you know anybody in any foreign countries, just send them a link and tell them that you're going to rickroll them, but it's actually an episode of our podcast, and just make them start hitting play so that we can add listeners in other countries. It's very exciting.
They don't actually have to listen to us. Just have them click play on their phone or on whatever device they choose to listen to podcasts on, just so we get the little flags on our little behind the scenes.
That's what it's all about. If you're going to sit down and watch TV, you might as well put your phone on mute and open up a podcast.
Exactly.
Right.
Help a friend.
Now, if they become adoring fans, that's totally fine. We'll take that too. But I also like seeing the little flag bubbles pop up in new countries, because the geek in me loves it. So that's great.
Awesome. Thanks, Scotland. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Scotland.
That's great. Before we clicked record, I wanted to look something up on the monitor next to me, and I found myself making a noise that I despise. And maybe you can relate. If you are on with customer service over the phone, or you're talking with a coworker, and they're going to look something up, they'll go, "Hold on, let me look that up real quick." And I hate that noise. You might hear some. And Kendall, you said Oh yeah, guilty.
Yeah.
I do that one.
I can't think of a mundane activity that I don't have a noise for. I was while I was logging into the call to record this thing, like I realized that I was going I would move my mouse and I'd go and then when I clicked, I went
You're cocking a gun.
every time. Yeah, I was cocking a gun because whatever.
It's funny-
I
it's
can't
funny you
push
say
a
that.
button without making an audible noise,
Even if the button has its own noise.
even if the button has its own noise.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. So my wife and I are in the drive-thru the other day, and I pull up to the window, and the person says something to me, and I said, "Sure, sounds good." And apparently it went something like "do like that right after I said it. She's like, "Don't do that. That's rude." And I went, "Do what?" And she made the noise back to me, and I honestly didn't even remember that I had just done it. And so, like, it's such an inherent Andy Bernard-esque type thing that I have in my personality. I've whistled while people were talking to me. Like, I'm listening, but I'm like whistling quietly. And I've had multiple people say, like, "That's really rude that you like whistle." I'm like, I didn't even know I was doing it.
I don't know. I don't.
This is not a conscious thing I do to offend people, but
I
it
am
is-
just testing my sound effects buttons.
you know, oh, I hope somebody had their car system really loud when they hear that. That's great.
Oh,
I don't know. I relate. I certainly relate. And now that people have pointed out that I obnoxiously do it.
I feel like everybody has an inner Andy Bernard. That'd be a good poll question on your Twitter there, Dylan.
Yeah, I'll have to
You-
set that one up.
Because I don't know. I feel like, well, for me it's for everything. Now I just make the noise out loud whenever I do anything. But if I didn't, like, I would still be making noises in my head for all sorts of things.
I feel like a lot of people would relate to Andy and Pam going on a sales call and her not letting him finish the last couple notes of what he was trying to sing. And they get in the elevator and like he can't help it. He's just got to finish. Like he can't leave the verse or the melody or whatever unfinished. And I think there's a lot of people that would relate to
Yes.
that.
Yeah. No, I do that too. I'm definitely sit in the car in the parking lot while a song finishes up. I
Yeah.
definitely do that. Kind of related to that too. So with playing music, leading worship, I tend to like. I think it's. I think it's actually it's supportive in a way, especially like if we're going into a reading or a scripture or a prayer or something that sort of deals with the song that we just sang, and as kind of a way of sort of continuing and saying, look, this thought pattern's not over. I tend to like to end a song on a dissonant note, and what that means for everybody is like, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, if you're listening to a song and it ends on a note and you're thinking, why didn't they? It feels like it's not finished. They should have just ended with I don't get it. So I do that a lot. There's a member on the worship team, a piano player, who hates that I do that. And when we're doing run-throughs and rehearsals, it's like you can just hear her, like, usually it's kind of faintly. She'll just go ahead and play the root note again just to finish. Like we're all done, and 3 seconds later, you just quietly hear a piano boom.
Like she had to resolve it.
Like she had to resolve it.
That's funny. Dylan. Oh, sorry.
No, sorry. She doesn't do it when we're actively leading others. But I I asked her if she at least like sings it in her head every time, even if
That's
yeah.
funny. Dylan, what was the response of the person at the drive-thru?
I think they just ignored it. Look, that person makes $7.25 an hour. They could care less what anyone says or does to them. They're just ignoring all of it. So
Yeah.
they don't care.
They didn't hear the words that led up to the do 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 do.
They probably weren't. I don't know. Like, is that a thing where so many people just have these little noises and gestures and things that they do that you just kind of ignore it? And frankly, having literally worked a Taco Bell drive-thru before, because that was my like high school job, right? You're so focused on like the order coming out accurately and people are saying things to you, and the people in the drive-thru don't know that you're already making mental notes in your head from the headset of the next order in the drive-thru that you haven't even started punching in yet because you're exchanging money. Like you're not even paying attention to that kind of stuff. So they didn't seem to react at all. But
Yeah. Can we talk about that for a moment? That the people tend to dog on fast food workers, and I am on a regular basis impressed by people taking orders at drive-thrus. It just I notice a level of multitasking there that I know I would not be able to pull off. Like they've got the headset on, and like I see people like actively like taking an order through a headset, like while they're preparing my drinks and or taking my payment and talking to me and giving me my total, and I can still like tell that they're listening. And then like when they get a moment, they just turn around real quick and punch everything in real fast on the computer there. And I just am I the only person that has had their like jaw dropped at the multitask ability of
well,
drive-through people?
I can tell you that if a fast food manager is worth half their salt, the C&D's kid is in the back washing dishes, and the 4.0 student who just needs a job after hours is the one running drive-through.
Yeah.
So it's like the sharpest tool in the shed finds
Well
its
then,
way to
well then,
multitask.
why does the 4.0 student need a picture menu instead of words on the computer? Then
I don't who has a picture menu.
have you ever, you've never like peered around and seen like what's on the McDonald's computer, what they're actually
Well,
touching there?
the lowest common denominator wins out there. Like, let's just
Okay,
make pictures
all right.
for everyone to make it as easy as possible. Just in
I'm
case
so
just in case a new person walks in. Look, and I'm not like talking down to anybody. I literally did fast food work for over 2 years in high school. So like I get it, but it's also easiest to just like, what's the easiest way to make this so we won't screw it up? Let's put a picture of a taco instead of it being TC-BF-SP, where somebody has to try to remember what abbreviations are when they're getting 15 items in their ear at a time.
Yeah, I see that, but then I also wonder like why do places even bother offering ice cream and milkshakes? Like it would obviously be easier for everyone at McDonald's if they just got rid of ice cream.
Yeah. I've seen multiple threads on that recently, by the way, and all of the different reasons why it's not working or not working. And it's a combination of things. It's like I've seen some people say like to legitimately clean it like twice a day like you're supposed to, it takes several hours, and a lot of managers just don't want to deal with losing a person when they're usually already short staffed for several hours. So they won't even turn it on, or they'll just say it's not working. Or to legitimately clean it properly, they have to make sure it's going to be down a couple times a day to make sure. I've seen several different reasons why they're not working frequently when they could be. It's kind of fascinating. People need to Google it.
I'm so glad that we went down this rabbit trail for a couple reasons. And Dylan has the best mispronounced Taco Bell orders. So we're going to come back to you on that, Dylan, because in 73 episodes, I've been wanting to share what people used to call some of the items on the Taco Bell menu.
I'm sure I've forgotten, but you can help remind me.
But before we get to that, this happened to me like a couple weeks ago, and I want you guys' take on this. Do you ever have a drive-through worker try to get cute or funny in their taking of your order, or have you been the one on the order taking end trying to be cute or funny? Dylan, I know you have. And here's what the person said. They had their whole little spiel. Thank you for choosing Taco Bell. Can I take your order? Because I'd really like to. And then I tell them what I want. And then they're like, okay, wonderful. And would you like any Jell-O? Good, because we don't have it. All right, just pull around. We'll have your total for you. I love you. Like, It's clearly
Uh,
some high school buddies who are just bored and trying to make their jobs more fun and also see what kind of reactions they get from people. I imagine not everybody liked it. I dished it right back to them. I'm like, well, I love you too, buddy. Can't wait to see you. I'll be right up. Like, what are your thoughts on when people do that to you? And have you ever done that?
Oh, the problem. I've lived it, dude. I've lived it. The problem there is what you quickly find out. You never know what kind of day the next person is having that you do that to.
Hmm.
Like, that's all fine. Look, the internet has made famous this whole idea of Karens, and the male counterpart to that meme is Kevin's, right? You until that next person comes through, and it is so okay. Here's a story. I'm running the drive-through one time, and I'm doing some kind of accent through the drive-through headset. And I turn around, and the district manager is standing there listening to me do this accent to the
Was
drive.
it Scottish? Was it a Scottish accent?
Because I've already insulted the Scots, I'm going to say no, it wasn't.
Now you have to pretend to be an immigrant.
I don't remember. I don't remember what it was. All of them were probably bad and horribly offensive. But you're a kid and you don't think about consequences to your actions. So
It was a different time.
I turn around, and there's the district manager, and he just looks at me and says, if you're going to do that through the headset, you better do that voice when they pull up to the window. And he walks into the office and says nothing else to me. And now I'm petrified because I've got to do the most authentic version of this accent I can do through the drive-through window, so they think that I'm actually from that country. So, that's just the thing. Like, and some people are just having none of it. Like, you can't be cheery because they're annoyed. You can't be, if you're too cheery, they're annoyed because they think you're being obnoxious. If you're not cheery, then they think you're just a lame, you're just another lazy kid, out here. And it's just a wild gamble that you're taking anytime you do anything like that.
But
Yeah.
if someone does that to you now as an adult and a kid is being goofy on the order taking side, do you just kind of smirk and go, all right, buddy?
I'm going to be honest. Sometimes I'm even annoyed, and I just like, it's one of them, So like, I get it. I really do. And most of the time, usually I will just not react in any way unless it's just, I can tell somebody's trying really hard to have a really positive energy, but maybe they're accidentally being over the top. And usually then I'll do the courtesy of saying like, hey, I love the energy, because I know they're like trying. And most of the time you expect to get this sort of, okay, here's your total, here's your food, and to not care. So like, if they're at least trying to be really bubbly or upbeat or energetic, I'm not going to shoot that down because they're trying to make their day good.
Yeah. There's a lady at our Taco Bell, that an older lady who, like, she calls me hun. And I mean, I'm sure it's not just me.
No, buddy. It is just you.
But even still, like, the fact that she just talks, hey, what can I get for you, hun? Like, oh. And then I'm smiling while I'm ordering and everything. And I appreciate that from her. And I've told her that before, that like, man, I want to see you every morning. And no, that's not what I meant.
I mean, you can. They have breakfast if you want.
They do. Ours doesn't right now.
I didn't know that existed.
Yeah,
I thought
but
they all...
well, I mean, I think they normally do. They did. Currently, they don't. I think it has to do with COVID. I think they have an entire shift that is quarantining right now.
All right, that's fair.
Or at least that's the rumor, because I went into our local Facebook page and asked people.
Speaking of Taco Bell and diminishing menu, I wish I could have recorded. Corey and I are brothers, if you're new to the podcast, and I was speaking with our mother last night, who enjoys Taco Bell, but went off on this very comedic tangent for about 10 minutes about how disappointed she is with all the things that aren't on there. And this was well thought out. This just wasn't like, they don't have my nachos anymore. This was like,
she's been laying up at night and has been
and
putting these words together.
I told her, I'm like, this is like a set that you've prepared for a stand-up, and this is great. If I could get her to leave it on a voicemail for the show, I would, because we're all we're all equally passionate about Taco Bell, and it was so good that she just went off in for 5 or 10 minutes while we were FaceTiming. It was great.
Her and I were on the phone once, and she started in on that. And did she get on the subject of like the cheese? She did. I forget what she orders, but there's a certain kind of cheese she doesn't like.
The nacho cheese. I heard about it yesterday.
And she asks for a different kind of cheese in lieu of the nacho cheese. And they always want to charge her for extra cheese. And she's saying, it's not extra. I'm asking you to swap it out. I want a different kind of cheese entirely.
Yeah.
And some people will, and some people won't honor her, saying, I'm not asking for an additional type of cheese. I just want you to swap those cheeses out.
To clarify her point, I said back to her, and this will illuminate it for some other people. I said, so as an example, you're not saying you don't want charged additionally if you say, hey, I want a steak quesadilla, or I want something with no lettuce, but extra steak. You're saying, because, and her point is like, yeah, that I'm fine with. But her point is like, if it comes with nacho cheese and I just want shredded cheese, that's a cheese swap. Those are like equivalent things that you shouldn't get charged more for. That's crazy. Like, it's still cheese. If you're not putting nacho cheese on it and you are putting shredded cheese, you're only putting some cheese on it either way.
Yeah.
And I forget how much she ends up getting charged if they do decide to charge her for double cheese. She's like, this is ridiculous. I'm thinking of not even going back.
Yeah. It was great. Yep. I can totally see. This is one of those moments that the people that showed up for the brothers talk finally got one of those funny, quirky stories.
Yeah. It's not like, hey, instead of the nacho cheese in my burrito, can I substitute a taco supreme?
Right.
In there?
Right.
And then you can just, you can wrap them. I want it on the side. So I'll take the taco supreme on the side.
Yeah. The kind of cheat that felt like was when people started saying, go to Chipotle, tell them you want a burrito, but tell them you want it in a bowl. And then what they'll do is they'll put the burrito in a bowl, and then you can kind of eat some of it, and then you wrap it and you're getting both. And that felt like one of those things that Chipotle should have charged people for, because it felt like they were trying to take advantage of Chipotle willing to give you everything extra for free except guac or meat. But anyway,
Hey, Dylan, you have to share with us, and we're from a small little town that has a very diverse population. And you have to tell our listeners some of the things that people called Taco Bell food items.
Okay, so everyone imagine that's listening that's not from the Southwest of America where people know how to pronounce Mexican food. Imagine any of the ways that you ever jokingly ordered Mexican food with your friends, but people actually ordering it that way. So
set up things.
You would have to say whatever, try to take somebody's order. And they're and I have to do this without using a voice because so I have to talk like a normal person when I'm saying this, but still say it wrong. Somebody might respond, they want a chicken fajita, for example. And then we have to decide, do I repeat it back to them the way they said it, which is wrong? Or do I say it back normal? Or do I say it back normal with some emphasis?
Right.
To maybe I can teach this person something today. Maybe I can be a teacher of men.
Listen, they're not chicken vaginas, all right?
So I can choose to say, I have your order as one chicken vagina, or I have your order as one chicken fajita, or I have your order as one chicken fajita, and you put a little extra volume on the end.
Right.
You also got tortillas a lot, quesadillas a lot.
But my all-time favorite,
is it the caramel apple empanada?
Yes.
So these were a short-lived item. Well, when Taco Bell rolled out their official dollar menu, that was when I was there, right? And somehow I still remember the Taco Bell corporate definition of an empanada, which is a crispy golden pastry pocket filled with chunks of warm apples and a creamy caramel sauce. For whatever reason, that was on a cue card.
It
If
would be
people
so proud.
asked, if they were if it was on I should get paid, like that should be an ad for sure where Taco Bell's paying, but they don't sell it anymore. That was on a cue card with like a cartoon bubble. Like, what happens if a customer asks, what is this? You need to be able to explain it. And it's a crispy golden pastry pocket filled with chunks of warm apples and a creamy caramel sauce. And then you knew how to explain what it was. But that was a caramel apple and panda. The other thing that came up frequently that you had your choice of deciding if you wanted to potentially get fired that day for was if they order so you have a new item of the week. Let's pretend it's the empanada. Somebody pulls up or comes in. You say, "Hey, welcome to Taco Bell. Did you want to try caramel apple empanada?" Everyone says no. That nobody listens to the promotional item. Everyone says no at everywhere. Right. And you're going to surprise somebody genuinely. If you go somewhere and you listen to the promotional item and you want one and you say yes, you are a unicorn among human beings. I can confidently say that. So they say no, and then they proceed to order one.
Right.
So then I could just repeat their order back and not be a smart aleck. Or I could say, "Oh, so you did want a caramel apple empanada?" And they say, "What?" And then I would say, "Well, when you pulled up, I asked if you wanted one. You said no. And then you ordered one. And so I just wanted to be sure, 100% sure if you did want one." Now, you try to say all this in a much nicer way, right? So they don't like go park their car and come in and ask for a manager. But like you're like, "I just want to clarify because I wouldn't want to get your order wrong."
Yeah. I mean, I remember asking you, and you said no.
I specifically remembered asking if you wanted one, and then you said no, and then you ordered 2 caramel apple and pandas. So I didn't actually know if you wanted them or not because it sounded like you said no, and then it also sounded like you ordered some.
Oh.
So anyways,
none of this is on our list for the day, and I'm so glad we've had this conversation. I'm crying laughing.
Yeah. So that happened. There was all kinds of things. Jalapeno sauce that came on things. The Baja sauce. Everything you could mispronounce was mispronounced. It probably taco at some point. I don't remember. That's what I got.
Thank you for sharing those. And we haven't even gotten into his retail stories, folks. Those are...
I really have to genuinely try to remember to write some of those down.
Those are spectacular.
You know, when like people have experienced trauma and they try to they block out and then like they start talking to somebody to get help. And then like these things come out of their past. It's like, oh, I had totally forgotten about this trauma that I had. And it's kind of like that sometimes with some of the stories. So like you have to work through it, like massage it out. You can't just like jump right in. It's a thing. I don't know.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's weird. That's the most unique reaction I've gotten to my trauma.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We're going to have a mental health episode. It's going to be good.
Yay. So you guys tell me if this is weird.
It looks normal to me.
Okay, good. I was worried about
the picture you sent. It's a little red, but
yeah. I mean, what you should do is you should draw a line around it, an outline around it, and then check it in the morning, and
see if it's grown.
See if it's grown
red
or changed color or started leaking.
Okay. I will be on the lookout for each of those things.
We're gonna have to mark this one explicit too, aren't we?
What I was actually going to say was, so we're out on the back patio carving pumpkins with the children the other evening, and the sun has gone down. It's a lovely, cool, crisp fall evening carving pumpkins.
It's my first favorite. It's carving pumpkins is my favorite way to kick off my Christmas celebrations. But anyway, go ahead. So you were beginning your Christmas tradition.
Beginning Christmas pumpkin carving. Yeah, as you do. And our neighbors to the side of us, who we have a great relationship with, are the back sides of our house would be in line with one another, but they've built out a lovely extension on their house. And so I look over to my left and I just happen to notice while I'm like spraying off all the pumpkin carving utensils that they're watching Jeopardy.
Mhm.
And it's the final Jeopardy question about a famous Picasso painting showing some horrific scenes from World War II. And I knew, well, that was the answer. I knew the question. So I text my neighbor, what is Guernica? And he says, hold on, let me take off my clothes and walk around naked. Be right back. Is that weird? I mean,
I mean, you're a creepy guy. And B, you made sure your neighbor knew that you were being creepy.
right. So I'm less creepy.
And C, you weren't paying his cable bill.
This is like some,
there's all kinds of things to be pissed off at there.
this is like some Frasier level antics.
Yeah.
Like this is Niles and Frasier level.
I hope this isn't the same guy you borrowed a lawnmower from.
And mowed 4 strips of his grass.
Yeah.
What's even creepier is this is the second time I've done it.
What you should have done is just for the next morning, overnight, just like set up a lawn chair in the corner of your yard closest to his house, and you're just facing his home, and then just leave it there so he sees it in the morning. That's what I would do with a flashlight and a pair of binoculars, like sitting on the seat of the chair, and just leave that there. Just leave it there. He never sees you in it, but he sees that setup.
That's great.
But we're really close with those neighbors, but even still, I think it's probably got to make him go, hey, bro.
Sometimes really hard pivots like that with no context will just fly over my head. I would have been, if I were in his position, I would be like, he's so weird. I don't even know what that means. And just put the phone down. Even when the answer would have come, I wouldn't have put 2 and 2 together. And I would have just totally let it slide as you being an idiot.
So then me overthinking, I'm going, I texted him again and I go, hey man, I'm really sorry if that was weird. For the record, I can't see any human beings. I just see your huge TV in your new living room. Also, was I right? All right, you're going to hear a word from one of our friends in the Odd Pods Media Network.
Here at the 500 Section Lounge, we have a few requirements. First, you need to be able to talk about anything at all. Secondly, you need to be able to laugh, play games, and hang out with some very interesting people. From sports radio personalities to reality television contest finalists and everything in between, we talk to them all right here in the lounge. Be on the lookout for what we do next and sit back, relax, and be there to grab a listen.
So anyway, that's how many penguins there are in a buttload of penguins.
Wow.
Yep.
Would have thought it was more.
Today I learned.
You know, if you ever needed an incentive to be a guest on our podcast, you should do it just to see the rotating list of Zoom names that we call ourselves. You don't get to see that on YouTube, unfortunately, but Dylan's come up with a couple pretty good ones over the last handful of episodes. Anyway, what else? We're just doing a round of updates post break. What's going on in you guys' world?
My oldest son is going through a thing now where he thinks that eating a breath mint in the morning is as good as brushing your teeth.
We've all been there.
It was we were at church on Sunday morning, and we have like little candy dishes out that have like fruity lightsabers, but then also there's mints in there. And he asked if he could go look for a piece of candy, and He was told yes. And so he's like shopping around from table to table, looking at him until he finds a mint and takes a mint and puts it in his mouth and says, "Oh, it's good that I found a mint. I forgot to brush my teeth this morning."
You mean during COVID? This has started.
Yeah.
You guys have been brushing your teeth like this whole time?
Every other day, man. Every other day.
Wow.
Twice a week. That's what the dentist says.
So much for from the middle. Right there. What do you go to Bieber's dentist or what?
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Bieber's dentist.
Just here to make the jokes.
Oh,
We call ourselves Comedy and Culture Podcast. We give these people tons of culture, but if I don't throw in an occasional joke, they're not going to know that this is comedy and culture. So, I'm here.
So I have an idea, and this might be a post-COVID idea.
Mhm.
We've had some food related ideas for like extra content or maybe within an episode kind of thing, but video centric seems to be the theme for some of these food ideas, one of which was recreating a Hot Ones episode, and
still want to do it.
we're going to do that at some point because that just sounds thrilling and painful and probably funny to watch, especially Dylan down there. We've talked about the last chance idea. So each of us takes like a food that like makes us vomit and we try it one last time. Thought about that. I have. So you guys, like, you're aware of like the whole Travis Scott meal thing at McDonald's, right?
No.
Nope.
Is this seriously news to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so McDonald's has been doing this thing. I think it started with a commercial of some kind, different celebrities talking about like what their meal is at McDonald's.
Who's Travis Scott?
I don't even know, a celebrity that people are supposed to know.
Okay.
But there's been others. Like you could actually go to McDonald's and they had Travis Scott meal like on the menu. You tell them at the drive-thru window after you say no to a hot apple pie that you want a Travis Scott meal. And a Travis Scott meal is like however Travis Scott, when he goes to McDonald's, he orders the quarter pounder, but instead of whatever, he substitutes that and blah 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 something else, and he gets a barbecue sauce packet and pours a little on that on there, and then he always gets fries and a Sprite, and so you ask for a Travis Scott meal, and they put that exact thing together for you. Jack Black has what he calls the surf and turf, which is like he takes a Big Mac and he takes that middle bun out of the Big Mac, and he also orders a fillet of fish and puts the fillet in its place. Kind of thing. I think he puts some sweet and sour sauce on it too, or something like that. It's anyway. So there's this whole thing going on, and I think that it would be fun. There we go. If you're on the YouTubes, you could check out what Corey just put out on screen. But so my question to you two is, if you were to put together your own creative sandwich it could be, let's stick to like McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's. Maybe we can throw Taco Bell in there as a wild card. Like, what would your sort of custom recipe be, and what would you order, and how do you make it yourself? And any thoughts on that?
Well, I can tell you, if any of my burgers ever have onions or tomatoes, I send it back.
Okay.
Nobody's sending food back at a fast food restaurant. You just take what you get and you eat it, or you throw it away. I could probably go on for days about how I would formally customize things at Taco Bell before they slash the menu. I don't know that I'd have, like, I haven't had a McDonald's cheeseburger like a Burger King.
Is that, hey Corey, is he glitching out on you too?
Yeah.
So Dylan's actually coming across as if he's trying to speak to us through the Taco Bell intercom.
I think we lost him. He's totally frozen.
He's back.
He's back.
He's back. I don't want the empanadas.
And pandas.
Am I back?
You're back.
We thought
I'm
you were
back.
trying to channel your formal or high school order taker Taco Bell self
You
out.
guys need to talk. Just give me a minute to come back.
Okay. All right. So I have ideas on what I would want to do for my McDonald's thing. I don't know if I want to share them yet. I think I want to let you guys think and stew on this
Okay.
and come up with your own thing. And then
It
at
has to
some
be
point,
McDonald's.
I would say stick to McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's. Let's stick to
Okay.
those three.
And come up with.
Come up with something.
It doesn't have to describe us.
No. I mean, I'm going to judge you on it, but
Okay.
um,
Just what you like from there, or if you could customize it however you wanted.
I've thought about
Could I
about
mix
it.
and match? Could I mix and match?
What do you mean mix and match?
Could I have a sandwich from one place, fries from the other, and a shake?
Oh, I would say no. I would say you would
Okay.
want to tell people like, look, this is the sandwich when it's all done, but this is how you order it. You have to order this and that, and then you do
Okay.
a thing, and so
I'm game.
all right.
Tune in next week to find out just what we would order at one of those fine fast food retail establishments. Speaking of stores, I haven't been out in a while. Like,
Shows.
Sherry does most of our shopping
Yeah.
for groceries and back to school and all that. So it's been a minute since I've been out. Have you all tried to buy anything anywhere recently? At an actual store?
No,
Not
I haven't
really.
been in a store. I
Uh-oh.
like window shopped online for things that I would want to buy, but I haven't actually been into a store to buy anything.
Okay.
So Sherry and I go out Friday, and through a series of circumstances at work and me not having a tablet on which to draw during video conferencing calls, which is what I do for a living, my boss just said, just go out and expense a new iPad Pro and whatever accessories you need, because I have this gig coming up later this week. And the one that they had sent me is on its way, but it's not here yet. So he's like, just go out and buy whatever you need and we'll expense it later, right? Separate from this, Sherry has had her eye on a very specific elliptical at Dick's Sporting Goods. So Friday night, we're like, let's go out to our nearby mall. We can kill two birds with one stone. Get your elliptical, and I'll get this iPad, accessories, blah, blah, blah. So we start with dinner at Condado, by the way. Amazing. And then go to Dick's Sporting Goods. And she said, what do you care most about with the elliptical? And I said, well, neither of us are slight individuals, so it needs to be a pretty sturdy one. If you're on it and the thing's creaking and squeaking and going left to right, that's the problem. That's a problem. So I said, as long as it feels sturdy, we'll just grab it and we'll go. The first one that she had her eye on, far too flimsy. It wasn't going to work. For like $300 more, you could get this middle one. And for $500 more, you could get their top of the line elliptical. So we pass on the first one. And we're like, you know what? That second one is like perfect. Price point, it's not too much. Feels really solid, steady, secure, good. And so we both hopped on it. It was like, yep, sounds good. So we tell the guy, hey, we'll take that one. He goes, no, you're not gonna get that. I said, what? He goes, yeah, we haven't had those in months.
Mm.
And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, it's getting colder. People are buying, exercise equipment, and gyms are closed. A lot of gyms are closed. And so, yeah. And he said, in fact, when people find out we have a shipment coming in, the trucks are coming in, two things happen. One, some people go on home, and when they know the truck is coming in, they'll just keep refreshing their browser and waiting until it hits the website and ordering it. The other things that happen is people will line up outside the store waiting on the shipment to come in. But what the people in line don't know is that the website orders take precedence. So if there's 15 coming to a store and 15 people are hitting refresh and there's 30 people outside waiting in line, guess who's not getting an elliptical? Any of the people outside. So we're like, all right, we'll take the next one. He's like, I don't know if we're going to have it. He looked at all of Columbus. There was one store that had one of the top end elliptical. So that was our first experience. Second experience, and I realize this is very first world problem, so just hang with me. Second experience, we go to a big mall. We walk by the Apple store and they have like 5 security guards out front. Just the Apple store, not the entire mall, just the Apple store. And so again, I haven't been out. Some of you are like, yeah, this is what it's like out there. I don't know these things. So like 5 security guards and they're taking your temperature. And I'm like, okay, so after you get your temperature taken and they've confirmed that you don't have a fever, there's 3 lines. The first line is a standby line. That means you don't have an appointment and you are just praying for the opportunity to have the privilege of shopping. As long as somebody who had an appointment doesn't show up, you're allowed to go in and shop. Second line is for people with appointments. And the third line is for people who've already completed their purchases online. They're just there to pick them up. Pre-COVID, the stores closed on a weekend at 10 p.m. Now they're closing at 8 p.m., 2 hours early. But if you're a standby person, the store closes at 7 because they want to save the last hour for the people that had appointments. We couldn't even get into the store. And I wanted to play the whole, I'm about to spend a significant amount of money on your products. I'm not just looking around to kill time. It didn't matter. I couldn't even buy stuff. And it just blew my mind that that's what's going on in the world.
That one does seem a little bit odd to me.
And then I went online to go buy the same thing I would have purchased had I been given the privilege of shopping at Apple. For the specs that I wanted on the iPad, they didn't have one. They only had one available at like one in Cincinnati. They didn't even have one in Columbus that had the specs I wanted. It's just kind of crazy to me. And maybe I'm just now realizing it, but supply chain, the craziness, I'm like, Sherry has said for months, we need to start our Christmas shopping because it's about to get real crazy.
Well, I told you, I said initially, like looking at things like window shopping just kind of for fun. But part of my experience has been 2 things, internal chat messages with my colleagues who like anything that's home hobby driven, nobody can buy. Like people are like, hey, does anyone know where I can get like an exercise ball and some 15s? And it's like, nope, out everywhere. Can't get anything. They're all gone. And then I follow like some AV home theater stuff, like all the home theater stuff, normally like huge discounts to try to get people to upgrade and buy big, expensive, bulky. A lot of that stuff's just going, if it's available, is going for full price because everyone's like, well, I might as well buy that surround sound I always wanted because we're going to be watching movies for the next 9 months. Right. So like anything that's a home hobby, people are just buying that stuff up immediately. Deep freezes, refrigerators, pools, exercise equipment, computer parts. Like when I was following this thread on like this one graphics card released and immediately was being sold for like 4 times what it's worth because like people are just like any of the home hobbies that I've ever wanted to do, I just need to buy the stuff to do it now. Kendall, I can't believe you got that air hockey table at a reasonable price when that's the perfect kind of thing somebody would like. I might as well buy. I've always wanted something to put in the basement to play.
Sure.
Like I keep seeing stuff like that where any home hobby stuff is really hard to come by or very expensive.
Sherry doesn't ask for a lot, but here are the last 3 things that she said, for our family, I would really like to have late spring, early summer, a pool. And you guys heard the story.
Yeah.
The guy was like, there are no pools in America right now because all pools are closed. People are buying pools. The second thing she wanted, a deep freezer. We couldn't find a deep freezer at any of the big box stores. in Columbus. She had to get this no name whatever that she ended up finally finding. And then this last thing, an elliptical. And they're like, yeah, this home exercise equipment is flying off the shelves. They can't keep it in stock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, also related to our basement is I want to put a rowing machine down there, and I ran into the same problem. And so Concept 2, which is one of the leaders in rowing machines, like I am currently on a waiting list to order because they only sell 3 models, and the entry level, the first model, is the only one that they're really producing right now. And so like I'm on a waiting list for that. And if you want one of the other 2 models, they don't even have a waiting list. They're just like, good luck, you're not going to get one in the foreseeable future. And so I mean, I've been on the Concept 2 waiting list now for months, and my projected date to be allowed to order still isn't until November or something.
It's crazy.
So
And I've
I
told
don't
this
even
story.
know. I don't even know if we're going to get one.
Yeah.
But it's just like when I was doing my research, I was like, well, I might as well put myself on that list just in case we get one.
This was Friday. I've told this story to like 7 or 8 people, and Sherry's like, "Oh, are you telling the Apple Store story again?" I'm just fascinated by I haven't been out much. I haven't realized just how bad supply chain for a lot of these. But you figure places like Apple would have figured it out, or Dick's would have figured it out. Like, I don't know. It's just crazy to me that that's what's going on.
I mean, even in a normal year, like an iPhone will launch and it'll sell for a few days and then it's back ordered for 6 weeks. So like even a normal year will produce those kind of constraints. And now you take anything that could be kind of used as a home hobby. Like I can't imagine, like obviously PC and Mac sales are up versus previous years where like maybe they had been slowly declining, because how many more people really need to work from home and do projects and stuff, and like, well, I have to have a computer. Even though most can be done on a tablet, they still, a lot of people are buying things like that because it's like, what can I use at home for the next? I mean, I went to order the mic that I have from Amazon. It was going to be like 5 or 6 weeks delivery, and a local store happened to have one, so I did that, and they just next date it because it came directly from the store. But it was going to be 5 or 6 weeks on Amazon, and like they're the ones that are supposed to be able to get you everything. Like they're the supply chain gurus, and with drones dropping things at your front door, and it was going to be 5 to 6 weeks for a mic. It's wild.
It's a crazy, crazy world. Yeah, I just thought that was interesting and didn't know if you guys had any experiences with trying to get anything. Listeners, do you have any stories about like crazy, even to gain access into the building, or things being available?
I keep thinking about all the stuff that like are a little bit splurge items that I'm like, is now a good time? But I can't even think of anything that I should buy that might come in handy over the next 6 to 9 months, or however long we might be really just hanging out at home through the winter. I can't think of anything. So other than some kind of exercise machine, I guess would be nice, but yeah, those are sold out anyway, so no point in trying.
Oh, I'm sorry to add one more, but there's a company called Hitch and Timber, and they make, because I've talked about EDC stuff, everyday carry, the things that are in my pocket every day. And what they make are like EDC pocket organizers, right? That's sort of their bread and butter. They make other things like notebook covers and like knife sheaths and things. Leather products is what they make. And their website right now, like if you go on there, because there's a pocket organizer of theirs that I wanted to get and I couldn't, because you go to their website and it's just this message that says, hey, we're only taking 15 orders a day. And we open up promptly at 9:00, and after we get 15 orders, we shut it down. And that's the message I've gotten every day. I think I got on their website once. There it is. I think I got on there once. It was at like 9:30, and it was open and ready. And I know that there were days that I like logged on at 9:00 and it wasn't open. So I think there it says 9:30, not 9. So that was my problem. But I think I actually got on their website exactly once to be able to see stuff, but I couldn't order anything. And at that point, it was just out of curiosity because in the meantime, I bought a cheaper version of what it was I wanted just to try it out. But yeah, so there's another one. There's another one.
Crazy. So we're going to some friends' houses this weekend, and I have been looking since we started this podcast for an opportunity to tell 2 stories about this couple who we're super close friends with. And since we're going there and since I was thinking them, I thought that this would be a great opportunity to share. So they said I could use their first names. So Jen, our friend, was a nanny for a pretty well-off family here in the greater Columbus area. And one day, this family was having a washer and dryer delivered to their home. And the mom, before she went to work, said to Jen, "Hey, when the washer and dryer get here, please call me so that if the delivery guys have any questions about placement or what to do, I just would like to be in the know. So once they get here, please call me and I'll just feel a lot better knowing that you're handling it and I'm on the phone with you, right?" So Jen's there with the kids that day. Washer and dryer show up. Jen immediately calls the mom, as she was asked to do, and said, "Hey, the guys are here with the washer and dryer." The mom says, "Great. What color are they?" And Jen kind of peeks behind the wall a little bit and goes, "One's white and one's black." And the mom goes, "This is terrible. What?" She said, "Yeah, one's white and one's black." "Oh no. Oh no. Oh no." So Jen, our friend, is sitting there thinking that this woman is racist. And she just wants to be sure that her washer and dryer combo match one another. They finally figure out what the other one is talking about and have a good laugh. That's the first story. The second story, and I'm going to share my screen on this one as well. I love Jen. So, can you guys see?
Yeah.
So this is the famous 17th hole at the TPC Sawgrass course, famously played each year, home to the Players Championship. And the 17th hole is familiar if you're not seeing the images. It's famous because the green is a little island in the middle of a large pond or small lake, whichever you
It actually looks like a golf ball sitting on a tee in the shape of grass out into the water.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is what it looks like when you're teeing off from it. Oops, I shouldn't have clicked that. This is what it looks like when you're teeing off, but this is sort of the aerial view. So you tee off from over here, blah, blah, blah. So Jen's husband, Garrett, my buddy, we have a mutual friend in a guy whose uncle, Pete Dye, designed this golf course as well as a few others. And so using his connections, they were able to secure a tee time at TPC Sawgrass, one of the most famous golf courses in the US. So Garrett loves golf. He's so excited to have this opportunity to play. And he got to play the whole course and had a wonderful time. He comes back and he's telling Jen about his experience, how much money it would have cost if he would have had to pay full price, the fact that the girl at the drink cart has warm mango scented towels that you can wash your face with mid-play, and just how amazing it was, right? So he has to tell the story of how well he did on 17, because if you even get it on the green, you're a pretty skilled golfer. And he's telling her about it. And he said, Jen, little known fact, so many golfers hit golf balls in that water that they have to hire a guy who dives in and collects the golf balls, because it would actually hurt the ecosystem to have that many golf balls. That I don't know the number. Call it tens of thousands of golf balls get hit in that lake.
Mm-hmm.
And he said the guy who does this has to wear a shark suit because there is an alligator that lives in that lake, and he has to wear a shark suit to stay safe to collect all these golf balls. And Jen just starts cracking up laughing. And he goes, "What's so funny?" And she said, "A guy dresses like a shark to scare the alligator away?" She literally believed that a man dressed like a shark to scare away the TPC sawgrass alligator. She didn't think it was a chainmail suit. And that's who we're spending the weekend with. I'm so excited.
Oh, man.
That's great. Have fun and tell them I said hello.
Yeah.
Golf diving, shark do.
Anyway, love you, Jen. Love you, Garrett. Anyway, that's all I got. I've been looking for an opportunity to tell those stories. Dylan, do you have any recommends this week?
I can say them, but we can save them for next week.
Okay.
I'm okay waiting.
Okay.
I'm okay.
Teaser.
I'm okay because we've talked about them before. So if you listen to my recommendations like you should, you'll already know about these things.
Something's coming up Friday.
Several things are coming up Friday, and we can talk about them next week.
Okay.
That'll
Sounds
be
good.
great.
If you're having trouble buying things, like Corey said, what you need to do is you need to do more shopping online. And as we've heard, Amazon's not necessarily the best place to do that these days.
I feel conflicted.
But I mean, Amazon is a fabulous place to try these things. But you know what Amazon does not have? Artiest Man.
That is true.
Right. And I tell you what, listen to me, if you're a guy who likes to smell good,
Mm-hmm.
then this message is for you. If you're a guy that likes to smell disgusting,
Mm-hmm.
this message can still be for you, as long as you think that it would be worth your while to purchase candles so that your apartment, house, home
Mm-hmm.
doesn't end up smelling like your BO.
Mm-hmm.
There's a place online called artiusman.com, ARTIUSMAN.com, that can help you with both of those things. And for the bearded men, they've got beard oils. That's kind of their bread and butter. All kinds of beard products. For those of us who've been showering during COVID, they have soaps and shampoos and stuff that's geared for men, stuff that smells good. And you should give them a try. And when you shop there for you and your friends and your family, load up your cart. And then at the checkout, you put in the promo code The Middle, and that's going to save you some money. And that'd be awesome. And you'll make everybody happy.
Yeah. And I think what you said is great. If you're one of those types of guys, or if you're not, and you have those types of guys in your life that you care about or pretend to care about, it's also nice to get them things for the holidays that they wouldn't want to have to spend their own money on. And even though they'd be willing to, because it's super nice, I think you should get it for those guys too, because why not?
We are excellent salespeople. That's what we
Look,
are.
I never said I was good at this. I Just
No,
try.
I'm saying we're excellent. We're excellent. Just get a whole stock. Just buy like 30 of each scent and beard oil, and then next time you go through a drive-through, and your jaw drops because you're watching the circus show going on between the guy who has his attention in 15 different places. Be like, you know what, sir, you deserve some beard oil, and just give it to him. You'll
That's
be the
right.
beard oil guy, and
And since it's 25% off your first order, you might as well get a ton of it up front. That way you have it for like, who knows how hard it's going to be. Artius is going to sell out all their stuff at Christmas too. You
That's
might as well-
www.artiusman.com. Thank you so much for listening. If you feel that cart, be sure to use the promo code The Middle. This has been a really fun episode. I laughed a lot. You guys are the best. We'll catch you next week.
so anyway, some of the scents that they
Thanks a lot, Scotland. We really appreciate ya.
Yep, and from the bottom of Dylan's heart, he wants to give a formal apology to the country of Scotland. Go ahead, Dylan. Dylan? Huh?
He left. I think he went to get some steak fajitas.